Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to Ethernal Realms. Let's see how this Aries new moon eclipse is going to impact you. Eclipses in general come with a lot of fateful energy. They have also some chaos energy, which means that we can't really predict how exactly everything is going to work out, but whichever way it does, it is actually helping your soul move along. So anything that is stagnant no longer remains stagnant once the eclipse energy hits, and so on. So last year you were getting a lot of eclipses, so was Scorpio, which is the sign right opposite from you. But now the nodes are shifting from a Taurus Scorpio axis to Aries Libra axis. They're still there in Taurus, they're slowly shifting out, but the energy is not going to be the same as it was last time, because there was one telltale difference. Is that we had Saturn squared Uranus trying to create some changes, and Saturn pumping the brakes every time. So there was that inner conflict and tension, which could have come out in the form of aggression, restlessness, struggle, or disagreements, and also can be in the form of creative breakthroughs. But this time around, there are some fateful changes, but nothing is being forced in your life at this time. There is still that little bit of encouragement, let's say, and that nudge that we get, but we're not, dunked head first into something that could be a little bit questionable or is a bit stressing around that time. Okay, so yes, this one is taking place at the very last degree of Aries, and as soon as the eclipse occurs, 8 minutes later, the moon shifts into Taurus. So there is a carryover energy, very clear carryover energy of something that is discovered in your backdrop because it's happening in your 12th house, that comes and has a leak over your personality. For example, a very prominent dream, let's say, or some realization that you have while you are introspecting, meditating, contemplating on certain things, and that is just groundbreaking. It's something very, very new that you might learn. A revelation can come in that leads to a revolution, quite truthfully, because 12th is the end of the astrology chart, and then we come back to you again, your personality, your outlook, and so on and so forth. So this new moon is going to be squaring with Pluto. That's another major thing, because Pluto is at 0 degrees. And these last and the very beginning degrees carry a lot of urgency to them. Okay, so for example, if you're born on the cusp of a certain zodiac, you will feel both zodiacs quite well. Let's say you're born at Taurus cusp, so you're Aries and Taurus, you will feel an idealistic sense of the Taurian energy, meanwhile the responsibility of being an Aries as well. So this is kind of that vibe where, the sun is just about to move, the moon is just about to move, and so is the sun actually. The next day we have Taurus season beginning, and Pluto is just beginning to, get into Aquarius. So there is kind of a disagreement between the experience of Aries, and what should be done, how things should be done, and so on. And Pluto comes in fresh in the scene, tries to challenge the person who is a seasoned warrior. Okay, so this is where things can get a little bit difficult, because we have a tiff between two stubborn and very strong planets. So yes, look out for that. But apart from this, we have great opportunity basically to make any new beginnings. Perhaps not starting on this particular date, but there will be a lot that is figured out along the way that actually paves the path for an amazing new beginning. Actually, this has huge potential for personal growth, and also growth within relationships, if that's something you're looking for, and also shared resources and assets with someone else, any investments you want to make, and so on. You might become more aware and wise about what exactly you are wanting in life. Okay, so still very pivotal times for you. One other thing to note is Aries is ruled by Mars, and that planet is in Cancer, so not the happiest place that it can be. So we might have a little bit of a difficult time handling the energy that comes in. Okay, so it might be, for example, that we get a million ideas all at once and we want to be very driven and motivated right away, but we might not yet have a road built, or we have not thought things through. There is no strategy to it, and so on. So it's just a lot of eagerness, but then the stress of not being able to start right away, or having to think things in a more measured way, which kind of dims the passion that Aries is fueled by, right? But the bottom line is that we need to understand that we are going at new projects with the desire to complete them for ourselves, okay? Our hearts are going to be happy, or for our family members if that's something close to your heart, okay? It depends on what brings you emotional joy and fulfillment. That's where Mars is going to help. That's where Aries is getting the help, and Pluto can kind of be a tempering effect of let's not all be mushy-gushy and let's just put in a little bit of logic as well. So there's a lot of potential for very constructive work, perhaps not on this particular date, but as the planets kind of move out of Aries and Pluto gets a little bit more comfortable in Aquarius, perhaps then it will feel a lot more clear. Okay, let's see your cards. Let's see what we have. We have the third eye chakra, and we have Dharma, okay, the life purpose. Okay, so you can be questioning your purpose. Where do you come from? Where are you going now? And why? There is definitely a huge metamorphosis that has happened in your personal lives, in your personal recognition of the self. And this one is taking it to the next level, basically. With the third eye chakra, we open up our awareness and our intelligence broadens. So you might be inclined to learn different types of things, which are something that's not along your line of expertise. But by doing so, you're broadening your horizons. You are meeting perhaps new people if that's what you want, or you're just learning something new that enhances the intuition you already have of your skills and of your life journey. Also, it can be like random insights and visions that you might see around this time that gives you glimpses and feelings of the purpose that you are to be aligned with, because the specific purpose is going to be different for everyone. Astrology can give you a sense of direction, but it's not going to give you the straight up answer. So I feel like you're discovering that for yourself, what it means to be you and what is it that you have to offer to the world at large and to the life that you're experiencing here. Okay, very purposeful, fulfilling. I feel like with the third eye, whenever I'm meditating on that, I think that my mind is open, but when I'm working on that specific chakra, it feels as though the space around me is expanding. Okay, so somehow being open is not enough. You can always get more open. That kind of ideology is the third eye, that it is infinite and we can't really fathom infinite in our everyday ingoings and outgoings, right? So this is a very nice reminder, and I guess this is what you're experiencing around this time, is a huge broadening of space, okay? And which means that you're broadening your capacities as well. Yes, and I love the triangle going on here in this particular card. It indicates you're pointing upward to using your mind, body, and soul, using your experiences of the past, desires for the future, and your current skills. There's like a trifecta of everything, basically, okay? That, again, it's pointing upward, so it's always oriented to something of a bigger picture. Also, the third eye can talk about looking at the bigger picture, perhaps being a visionary around this time. Yes, okay. Yeah, okay. I was getting unique purpose, unique essence. These are two phrases that I got. Okay, then we have Venus, which is love, beauty, art, harmony, and relationship, which is awesome because, she's your ruler. So we love to have her on the board. This indicates that you are getting some blessings through Venus. At this time, where is Venus? Yes, she's in Gemini, which would be your second house of self-worth, esteem, and also financial gains and material wisdom as well. So there might be a certain gift that comes in, or you have this rise of feeling in abundance and self-worth, importance, things like that. There could be some information that comes to you that is going to be valuable for you, but also provides value to others as well. Okay, then we have the fourth house, which is about the home and family, and also your private self and your foundations. So there can be some recognitions or realizations you have regarding the topics I just talked about. And also there can be some connection with a grandparent or a passed on loved one, someone in your ancestry who was wise when they were here, and even now in memory, if you have met them, then you kind of associate them with the quality of the third eye, which is intelligence, broad-mindedness, and wisdom. So they might be coming through and giving you some pieces of information as well that can be very revelatory. This can be through a dream. You might not believe it at first, but yeah, if you ask for confirmation, it might make more sense. But yeah, that's of course specific. There can also be a deepening of connection between you and your core self, so you understand your deeper desires and needs more immediately. I'm not going to say better, but immediately. And that actually helps you respond to the spiritual movements that are taking place around already, right? So kind of aligning yourself with the astrological clock, let's say, or being in the right place at the right time, coming to alignment in that regard is also getting better around this time. Things that are needing to be purged are coming through as well. So deep realizations, answers from the depths, and so on can come through. So if there is a habit of suppression, repression, or denial, then these times, eclipses in general, are not really the best time for those things. And it's really important to go within, kind of listen to your intuition if you're trying to make some major life decisions, because yeah, I feel like the answer is quite directly right there in front of you, and all you have to do is ask and then listen for the answer. Okay. I keep getting intimacy with the Venus in the 4th house. If you are in a relationship, there can be an increasing of that connection, more vulnerability and openness and honesty that is going on there. Understanding of each other's intentions is as well what I hear. There can also be someone new that you meet, perhaps through a family or some friends who you consider a family, who introduce you to someone with whom your purpose is connected. Okay. Then wow. Okay, I'm holding this card and I'm talking about relationships, and Libra is all about relationships. Also the communication within relationships. So not necessarily romantic, it can be business partnerships and close friendships as well. Just whoever we share a one-on-one close bond with, and who holds an importance and mutual respect in our lives. So that would be Libra. All right, so we're talking about the South Node moving into Libra soon. It's not yet here during this time of eclipse. It will very soon. But yes, when we have a South Node there might be some workload that you're letting go of, some workplace relationships might be ending, perhaps your designation is changing, or you're letting go of certain responsibilities, and yeah, you no longer deal with the same type of people. There can also be, if you have employees, then there could be some who are leaving for the better, kind of they found a better place under your tutoring and things like that. It seems kind of happy, even if there is a sort of departure here. Apart from that, it can indicate that you connect with people from past lives, or with whom you have already predetermined while you were in a non-incarnated state to come around here at this time and kind of go through certain life purposes here. There's definitely a spiritual node taking place. I can't really sidestep it, but Libra can talk about connections and correspondences with those types of people. And again, it might not be a romantic situation if that's not something you're looking for at this time, but it can still be a contractual relationship, but is a little bit fated by nature. Okay, so wherever the South Node and the North Node out, there is that fate that surrounds it, and eclipses kind of enhance and bring that fate to the forefront, so we can very clearly see who exactly is in charge around this time. Okay, so if you listen to your soul, there is just a lot more equality going on here. Speaking of equality, there can be some karmic rewards and justice as well that comes around here. So yeah, if there have been some legal disputes of any type, this can be talking about you receiving a favorable outcome, and to trust your intuition, not be afraid, and just move along by expressing the truth and accept as they come, because certain things, they're a blessing if they are gone. For example, a toxic thing that we didn't even know was toxic, letting those things go is going to help you grow. So yeah, that's kind of the message coming through. But once again, you're connecting more with your private self, which means you are aware of what is actually toxic and not. Sometimes we know something is bad for us, but we still go for it, right? that's the kind of situation I'm talking about here. Okay, so we all say junk food, yeah, not good, not good, and then we're like, yeah, but it's so tasty. Let's just. It happens, right? So it's sort of that situation. Okay, then we have Mercury, which is communication, mind, intellect, reasoning, and language. Okay, so Mercury is in Taurus at this time, which is your zodiac. All right, now I'm really sure that you're going to get through this very fine. Because Mercury is, the planet of all of these things, which means that your logic is on point and you're able to receive the information from your deeper self very clearly and easily. So your intuition is very sharp, very sharp, very sharp. I can't keep repeating. Please keep that in mind around this time. Also, the way that you're communicating can have a strong impact. So if you have some interviews going on, then you are more noticed for the way that you speak and what you're exactly expressing. So if you prepare well, you can be very, very eloquent and you will be very noticed for that. Same goes with, partnership communications of any type. You're noticed for your intelligence and keen observation, I'm also hearing for some reason. There is a methodical approach that comes in around this time, which is absolutely up your alley. Yes, especially when in the face of chaos, right? Go methodical. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We have the King of Swords. Awesome. We have the King of Swords, which is lovely. It's about the mind again, mind, intellect, revolution, unique, objective viewpoint, and like I said, keen observation. You can see from the image itself, sharp eyes. All right, then we have, we have the Queen of Swords, we have the counterpart energy once more. So you could meet an air sign, okay, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, these three seem to be coming up a lot. Or you might be getting your finances from someone, so your boss might be one of these air signs, for example. What else? Pluto moving into Aquarius is definitely a major deal because it's going to be squaring your energy for a very long time. And this is going to force certain changes and purging as well. So wherever a breakthrough is needed, Pluto is going to help you out from this placement. There is a change in thought process and your form of expression as well. Yeah. There can be some, with the court cards, it's going to be talking about you becoming a mentor, a guide figure as well, or you have something to share and you're wanting to do that, but you might work with someone else in a professional setting, or you kind of learn from someone who is a little bit more experienced, but you're kind of learning to be a teacher, for example, right? That would be a classic combination. But there is absolutely epiphanies coming through, more growth and expansion in the mind, directly relates with the third eye here. Really, I'm seeing one theme going on here more prominently. Okay, then we have the Eight of Wands, Mercury in Sagittarius. So yes, there can be some travel plans as well that you make. I don't think at the time of the eclipse, but a little bit later. But it can be like very quick movement. You make a flash decision and then you kind of sit with it, listen to your intuition, but when you feel it's right, it's just right? There's no other questioning it. What was I saying? I was getting another message, so okay. Let's just go with the first one. So it can be that the moment you understand, you're going to go for a travel plan or a relocation where you can study more or you can express your talents even better. Okay, Mercury in Sagittarius can be very adventurous and risk-taking. So Taurus, loving the comfort zone. This might not be your favorite thing to do, but at times we need to, right? Just because we're a fixed energy does not mean we don't like any fun or that we don't want to do anything new, right? We absolutely do. Everyone wants a little bit of everything. It's just that the way we go about things is going to be different for everyone. So yes, Mercury in Sag is going to help you out with that. And also the airy vibes that are going on here is going to help you kind of float along quickly, so you can develop and ground your ideas fast and you can make something new happen. Eight of Wands can also indicate some messages coming through, some information that comes in that is very positive, that helps your manifestations come true, for example, or clarifies the things that you're dealing with in a new light. It might also give you a new perspective on things. with the King and the Queen of Swords as well, it can be another person that brings in a different viewpoint that helps you move forward beyond the blocks that you have been dealing with, or any sorts of comfort zones and stagnancies that might be there. Comfort zone is not always bad, right? We all need comfort, we all want it, and it's necessary to feel a sense of stability. But it becomes very crippling when the earth becomes too heavy. So that's where this sword energy comes in, of being a little bit analytical of, is this good for us? Is it actually fertile ground, or are we just dumping waste on it? You know, like, which is it? Is it benefiting us for the long run? If not, let's make some changes. If yes, let's keep it, you know? It's not really about criticizing the comfort zone in any way, but just seeing what is growth inducing and what is really dampening. Okay, so that's another message I get. Travel, communication, yes. Also, epiphanies, I already talked about that, but this also emphasizes on that. All right, then we have the Five of Wands with Saturn in Leo. Okay, there can be some competition, competitive energy coming through. Okay, so if you are in a partnership, but you know the foundations are relatively new or not yet built on like proper communication, so you can know if this relationship is going to stand a chance from the way that you communicate and cooperate with each other. Okay, it seems like that's going to be the way to go with this connection, at least in this year, or at least in this particular eclipse here. Because if not, the King and the Queen of Swords can be like competing against each other. They're very strong-willed and stubborn as well. They have their own experiences to back it up. Both of them like to follow the truth, but they have a different viewpoint on certain things in certain matters. They have enough things in common to work together, but again, two strong court cards, especially in this particular suit, is kind of cold and detached, right? It's not really warm and fuzzy and we can just bond over some nice beer or something. So yeah, that can be a thing. If you guys are not communicating properly, then this can be quite cold, detached and aloof situation that comes in where there is a tug of war, a certain type of battle here. So communication is going to be very, very important. Be mindful of your words, and kind of certain arguments are just not worth having. Meanwhile, certain topics which are of great value and integrity for you are completely worth giving it your all, right? So sticking up for them no matter what. Compromise is not the only solution to everything, right? We can't keep knuckling under all the time, but we can't keep on pushing against everything all the time, which is where the swords once again comes in, and also the third eye of questioning yourself of what is actually of value to you and what can be let go. What is that specific boundary is it that you're looking for? And is this an expectation from yourself, or is it a requirement from the outside? If it is outside and it's not being met, does it need to be met from the outside world? If not, how can you cultivate it from within? Things like this. Of course, these were like some questions. I'm not saying these would be the literal questions you ask, but along these lines where you question your values, priorities, and what you hold priceless. It can also be kind of establishing more boundaries of how much is your space and how much can you let for others to come through, and managing your expectations in that manner. Five of Wands can also indicate that if you're fighting for a position for, let's say, a new workplace, for example, and you're giving interviews, Five of Wands says you have a lot of motivation and fire. Aries is all about that fire, so give it your all. Do not back down, okay? If it is something valuable to you, do not back down. Do not undersell. And I honestly am telling you from experience, I got this card once, and this was not in the guidance position, so I didn't think too much of it. I thought, okay, so there will be some hiccups here and there, but seriously, I should have given it my all in that particular situation, because in that case, everything would have worked out very smoothly, right? You don't expect fives to work out very smoothly, but if you learn what they're actually saying, it's like just be sincere in your efforts, be honest, and then go for it with your complete integrity, heart, and soul. You cannot lose in that case. Okay, so for any major decisions, any disagreements there are, make sure to know your inner values and your compass and stay aligned with that. It's very important, especially when Saturn is part of anything in this card here. And eclipses have a way of unearthing things, okay? So if there's some underhanded type of behavior, whether it is on your side or the situation or the other person, it doesn't matter. If there is something that is hidden underneath the layer, it is going to crop up. There is like no hiding it from it, okay? Pluto really likes to dig. It's about the mysteries and so on, so there's not really much point in doing that. So yes, the best, the quickest and the most successful approach for this particular eclipse is going to be to stay true to your values, your dharma, your purpose, and your moral compass, and listen to your intuition. Be intelligent and tactful in the times to come, be it in your work relationships, your personal relationships, whatever. Do what feels right and do not defy your own intuition, okay? And that also means that we need to deal with certain fears. So once again, that'll be a part of the eclipse anyway. It is going to come up. Yes, like I said earlier, suppression and denial just doesn't work with Pluto. All right, then we have Page of Wands. This is really good. This indicates a lot of passion. Five of Wands, by the way, can talk about chemistry and some tension you might feel with someone. Perhaps you're not communicating with each other yet. That can also explain the cold and detached type of behavior, where you're kind of observing each other, measuring each other up from a distance, but you're not yet an official anything. Now, the Page of Wands can indicate that there is some flirting going on, or some positive messages that come through, which makes you very happy. Okay, also ignites your passion. There is some creative energy coming through with this as well. So you're excited for what is to come. There is a feeling of bubbliness and inquisitiveness as well. You're excited for just about everything that comes next. Let's say you are fighting for an admission, for example, then you give it all you got, and when you do that, you get a positive message here, like, yes, you got this, and you have like these mentors and guide figures kind of waiting for you, who are actually masters in their field, and yes, now you're being asked to join them. So yes, communication comes in, a partnership comes in. You might be moving your house, but you find something that you absolutely love and adore. Yes, so different people in different circumstances are going to experience this very differently, of course, so please take what resonates. Okay, what else do we have for Taurus, please? Yes, okay, so once again we have this coming up here, Mercury in the 7th house in Sagittarius. Okay, so that's literally the eight of Wands, and it's in the center of your reading. So I already talked about this. This can also indicate that you're learning a lot from other people, so be open-minded and be ready to receive the information that comes through. So effective communication is going to be about really listening to the other person and also responding in like. So if they are not yelling at you, you don't need to be yelling. If they're not cursing, then you don't need to be cursing. Things like that, right? If they are more methodical in their approach, perhaps give a measured response back as well, because you want to get your point across to each other. And obviously the same should go the other way around. But because Sagittarius is a mutable sign, there is a general openness to making things more streamlined, more successful as well, by adjusting, being flexible, and compromising as well. So I'm not saying everything is lost if you don't have a good argument, but it obviously helps to have a good argument, because then you can learn a lot more from each other. So that's something that's coming through here. You learn a lot from other people. But again, if you're like participating in a class, a new course, or teaching other people or clients, business, things like that, then this can be the time that you're advertising more, or you might be reaching out to more people. You might be doing more things in a lighthearted, more humorous manner, or in an adventurous sense that brings in more clients or attention as well. And same goes with classmates or teammates that you might work with in a course. You might find a good partner where you can riff off. You have similar intelligence, but you might have different expertise, right? So that's where you kind of work together. All right, I'm going to shuffle once more. Let's get one last message for Taurus. 11th house, Jupiter and Scorpio. Okay, big transformations, absolutely. 11th house is also about social presence. There can be some new people that you meet from different backgrounds, new friends you might be making. Perhaps you learn a secret or two about a close friend or some group member. Jupiter in Scorpio can also talk about great level of awareness and recognition of your hopes, fears, aspirations, your dreams in life, and so on. There can be some changes in those specific areas too. Perhaps you never thought you would go back to school, but now that you're going, you're like, hey, this is actually exciting and I want to take another course. Or I might be thinking about changing my presence, my public presence in some way. If you have a public persona, then you might be shifting what exactly you put out there, or the types of community and people that you connect with after this eclipse here. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Taurus. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading resonated and that it helps you out. Let me know your thoughts, and if you want a personal reading, you can reach me via Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.